This is Gary Atensi with CNTV, and today we're in Denver, Colorado. We are at the headquarters of the Daniels Fund. This organization has been committed to fulfilling the intent and direction of their founder, Bill Daniels, in helping communities today, tomorrow, and forever. I am here with the president and CEO. Linda, thanks so much for joining us here. Why don't we begin, first of all, a little bit about yourself, basically how you got involved in this business of giving. I understand many of the folks on the board of directors have actually been able to work with Bill in the past. Were you one of those folks?
Yes, Gary, I was. It's nice to be with you all. I met Bill Daniels in 1987 when he was starting the Young Americans Bank, which is across the street from the Daniels Fund. I'm a banker by profession and training, and Bill was wanting to start a bank to help young people understand financial literacy and how to prosper in the free enterprise system. So I worked directly with him for 15 years, and then he asked me to serve as a trustee for his estate as well as a original trustee for the foundation. So I got involved that way originally, and then in 2005 the board asked me to come over as the CEO.
Obviously, the bank was one of his proudest achievements that he really enjoyed, helping the youth. Obviously, we're talking about, this is one of Colorado's own heroes of compassion and integrity, a story that began right here in Greeley, Colorado, but the story did not end there.
Oh, it certainly didn't. Bill Daniels was one of the most amazing and generous people I've ever met. He was born in Greeley, and the family moved to Iowa during the Depression, came back to Hobbs, New Mexico. Bill went off to serve in the military and then came back, started an insurance business in Casper, Wyoming. So that's why we serve in those three states. And then later in his career, he bought the ABA basketball team, the LA Stars, renamed it Utah Stars, moved it to Salt Lake City. So that's his connection to the four states that we work in.
I was just going to tell you, basically, he was very intent on the geographic where he gave to, as well as the areas. Also, these states each served a purpose for him and basically shaped him throughout his life, and so he felt it was important to give back there.
Yes, Bill Daniels very much was a product of the four states that we serve, and he was very specific, probably more so than anyone I've met in the foundation business, as far as setting up what he wanted his foundation to do, and by the way, what he didn't want it to do. And after he specifically articulated those, he said, furthermore, you may never change those. So it's pretty much set what he wanted.
So not only the states, but also the funding areas for the nonprofits. What are some of those areas that were most important to him?
The funding areas were absolutely set by Bill. The first division is between grants and scholarships. So 30% of our payout goes to scholarships and 70% to grants. Within the grants area, there are 9 funding areas, and then his Young Americans Bank actually is a 10th. But the 9 funding areas are aging, motivated by his mother. He wanted to help seniors age in place with independence and dignity. Amateur sports he loved sports, so he wanted kids to be exposed to sports and learn the discipline, teamwork, all the things that come out of a good sports experience. Alcoholism and substance abuse. Bill Daniels was an alcoholic. He was treated at the Betty Ford Center, and he understood the disease very well. And so a good portion of what we fund there is actual help for treatment. Disabilities. He had a sister who was developmentally delayed, so he understood what that impact is on both his sister's life as well as mom's life, who took care of his sister. So we work in disabilities. Early childhood. Bill Daniels always said he was fortunate to have a good home life and good parents, and realized that not all kids were. So our focus in that area is ready for school. K-12 is about education reform. Bill would not be happy if he were here today and saw the United States as anything but number 1 in the world. So we work on charter schools, we work on anything that gives parents choice in their children's education. Homeless and disadvantaged is another area, and Bill always said, there but for the grace of God go I. So he had great compassion for people who were down on their luck. So we work with people in emergency situations, and a lot of focus on helping people achieve self-sufficiency. Ethics was extremely important to Bill. In his lifetime, he was a big contributor to the University of Denver for the ethics program. So we have an ethics initiative where we work with 8 universities and the business schools. And then finally, youth development, which is a very broad area, and youth development is about character and financial literacy, entrepreneurship, academic, supplemental academic programs, that kind of thing.
Wow, amazing. Quite a few areas that he is able to touch through this foundation. Regardless of a scholarship or a grant, it seems to me that each one of these have to somewhat mirror who he kind of was, upholding a high standard, high quality, integrity, and that of compassion.
I think that's absolutely right. Our board right now, all but one of our directors knew Bill very well and knew him very personally, and you couldn't find a group of folks more committed to not only doing what he said, but doing it in his style with the emphasis that he would put on it. And one of the things we talk about a lot is how do you assure that that continues in the future as people don't know Bill Daniels and they're running the foundation or on the board.
He also believed in helping individuals as well with a hand up, not only to improve their own lives, but basically to improve others later on, just as he was able to do.
Absolutely. Bill used to call me at Young Americans Bank, and he kept a large deposit there, and he would read about a family whose house had burnt down or had problems with a funeral service or something like that, and he would say, take money out of the account and go give them a check, and they never knew where it came from. So he did a great deal of that as an individual. And we work through some agencies. We can't do grants to individuals, but we work through some agencies to keep that style of giving alive as well.
That is wonderful. One of the things that, scholarship-wise, I was reading some of the stats there. Quite honestly, hundreds and thousands of scholarships in the past. How many scholarships in the past have been provided?
We have two different scholarship programs. We have the traditional one, which is our high school seniors going on to college. We have named 3,000. We have over 1,000 alumni in the program now. In fact, we just launched over the weekend the next class with 250 18-year-olds, so it was pretty exciting. But these young people can use the scholarship for any degree in any university that they want. We're pretty focused on 4-year completion. With 1,000 kids in college at any given time, that's an important number, so we keep pretty focused on that. But in addition to the scholarship, we work closely with these young people once they're selected. A number of our students are first generation in their family or have no real experience with college, and it's pretty overwhelming when you don't have that experience. So our staff work with them. They work with them all the way through.
The facility here is quite overwhelming. I mean, honestly, it's basically a headquarters to make sure that this work goes on, but also serves as a tribute to this man who was larger than life. Is that what was intended?
Absolutely. When we built the Daniels Fund, we kind of wanted a quasi-museum effect, and so we have memorabilia from Bill all over, and in fact, we move it around and rotate it around, and our staff loves reading about it and seeing it and understanding who he was. We also work with some partners that were important to Bill in his lifetime: University of Denver, Young Americans Bank, Betty Ford, New Mexico Military Institute. They also have memorabilia displays there.
Also to a wonderful full life-size statue out front given by a friend. I think that is wonderful. It sets the mood and the tone when you walk in the building, which is great. Another way you're able to give back, not only monetarily, but that in a workspace, these meeting spaces for nonprofits.
A good portion of our first floor is available to nonprofits in the community to use as meeting space. We have around 30,000 guests a year in the building, and it's nice for nonprofits to have a place where they can come and have a meeting, and we're fortunate to have a parking lot that accommodates that as well.
Wonderful. So whether it be a high school senior ready to embark on a 4-year degree, or someone non-traditional going on through college, or these nonprofits that benefit, truly this legacy is something that is alive and well in Denver.
We hope to keep it alive and well forever. So.
Viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is their website. On the website, first of all, you're going to see all of the different scholarships they're able to provide, as well as nonprofits, and the 9 areas, or the 10th one as well, that we discussed. And you can check it out there, and you can also see how to apply for those as well. Is there a better time of the year to apply, and what would you tell folks who are thinking about going through that process?
Scholarship application will open in the fall, so watch the website. It's open for a couple of months, and then we start the process of selection.
So these scholarships, basically, you're providing is a 4-year going after a bachelor's degree, is that correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And what about the folks that are going on, let's say, the non-traditional of any age?
We have a separate scholarship program called the Boundless Opportunity Scholarship, and we've actually worked with about 3,000 students in that program as well. The Boundless Opportunity operates in a very different way. We make grants to the universities in our 4 states. They, in turn, re-grant the scholarship money to adult learners, returning military, GED recipients, foster care youth, emergency responders, different categories of non-traditional. And in that program, it may be a degree pursuit or it may be a touch-up class. It may be someone who has a degree, has been out of the workforce, and needs technology training. So it can be whatever their goal is.
From a personal level, basically you met him as a banker way back in the day, and now it has pretty much changed your life, going in a different direction. And like Bill used to say, you never know who you're sitting next to or who you're speaking with. That's something you can definitely attest to.
Definitely can attest to the fact that someone can change the course of your life. I spoke to our scholars on Sunday as they were wrapping up, and I said, you never know. Because when I first met Bill Daniels and he was talking about a bank for kids, I thought the guy was crazy. And it's changed my life in a very good way. So you never know. That's right.
Basically, as the man who is known as the father of cable TV, I felt it would be an honor to basically provide that medium and tell his story. And so I appreciate you sitting down with me.
Thank you, Gary.
This is Gary Atensi with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know.